Welcome to the 8th talk of world history, which is a 60-second summary. And this one now deals with ancient Greece. And here I want to look at particularly the way that ancient Greece is a fulfillment of prophecy, and particularly looking at here Daniel's prophecies. We come across the concept of ancient Greece in the second chapter of Daniel, where Daniel is basically unpicking the statue that Nebuchadnezzar dreamed about, with the golden head that represents himself and the Babylonian Empire, the silver, which is the silver top of the body, which represents the Medo-Persians, the bronze, which represents ancient Greece, and the iron that represents the Roman Empire, and followed by the 10 toes that represents European Christendom. This is replicated in Daniel chapter 7, where you have a beast that comes alive, which has the lion is Babylon, the bear is Medo-Persia, the leopard is Greece, and the iron beast is Rome, followed by the 10 horns, which again is that European Christendom, which is picked up in Revelation chapter 13 and chapter 17. So you see very clearly that Greece is part of this prophetic vision that Daniel has. The other prophecy that Daniel makes about Greece comes in chapter 8, where he talks about this two-horned ram, that is Medo-Persia, that is destroyed by this one-horned sheep of Alexander the Great. And goatish, mean goat. And Alexander the Great hits this ram, destroys it quickly, as we know he does. And out of the one horn of Alexander the Great comes 4 horns, which represent the 4 generals that took over Alexander's empire. And we pick up a bit more about that in chapter 10 and 11 of Daniel, where you have the king of the south and the king of the north. And the king of the south represents the general Ptolemy, and the king of the north is the general Seleucus, and they respective dynasties that came out of these 2 generals. And this is very important because ultimately we find in Antiochus Epiphanes, who was one of the dynasty of Seleucus, this great attempt to destroy the Jewish nation and its identity, because the Greeks were very proud of their Hellenistic culture. And as a result of that, they wanted the Jews to submit and effectively reject what they considered their old-fashioned religious ways and adopt Hellenistic culture. And the Maccabees basically revolt against this and successfully restore to Jerusalem around about 160 BC their independence. So what we see in the book of Daniel is amazing fulfillment of prophecies. And that's one of the evidence that the Bible is, in fact, a accurate revelation from God, is this ability to predict history, which only God can do. As we've seen with the pandemic, it's almost impossible to predict the future if you can't even predict the pandemic. But God can predict the future. Thank you for listening.